welcome back to the Bobcat Weekly Podcast, episode 14, coming to you live from Bozeman, Montana. For you guys that don't know, my name is Keegan Torsdahl, and I'm here with Aiden Kuntz.
And Brady Torsdahl.
And two special guests this week, both from the men's basketball team. Fellas, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Patrick McMahon, redshirt senior.
I'm Jed Miller, senior.
And we're a little wonky on the setup this week. We usually have 3 mic stands, and we couldn't find one of them. So we're working with what we got. Yeah. Hopefully it works out for you guys.
Probably got lost in the shuffle of moving between the RV and here last week, so.
Yeah.
But we'll make it work.
Yeah, but another fun week and weekend of Bobcat athletics. We've got a lot to talk about this week, so it should be a pretty fun episode. So, basketball continuing to get their season underway. Volleyball wrapping up their 2025 season. Men's hockey back in the win column, picking up a couple big wins over the weekends. We'll talk about that later today. As well as football, taking a very big 32-28 win over the Grizz, which I think we're all very excited about. So, lots to talk about this week, so we'll go ahead and kind of dive in with interviews with you guys. So kind of talk us through growing up, how you got into the game, basketball, and then kind of up through your transition to coming to Montana State, and talk us through kind of that process.
Yeah, I've been playing basketball for too long to remember now. I don't know, maybe 15 years. And the earliest memory I have is my mom would always tell me I would help her do her laundry, and I would fold her socks up, and she would just tell me to kind of shoot it in the basket. And so that's kind of how basketball was introduced to me at an early age. And then from there, my mom ran a couple youth basketball leagues, so I was fortunate enough to play in those and play in a couple different divisions. And then obviously carried into my travel and club programs that I was a part of, led me into high school, and that's when I really started to grow as a player. And I realized that basketball was definitely for me, and I loved it. And then my senior year was actually COVID year. And so like my dreams of playing college basketball I thought were kind of getting crushed a little bit. And then I ended up doing a prep year, which allowed me to get more opportunities and kind of let COVID pass by a little bit. And so more time would open up. And Montana State reached out to me along with a couple other schools. I wasn't interested in as much as those other ones. Took a visit to Bozeman, committed about 3 days after my visit, and wouldn't change anything to be at Montana State.
Pretty similar. I grew up in Alaska, so didn't get a whole lot of looks in high school when I was starting to play pretty well. So I started getting recruited by Coach Sprinkle and his staff before Logie got here. A lot of film and just clips and highlights is what they used to recruit me. I didn't even get to take a visit to Bozeman though because of COVID. Like Jed said, we're in the same class in high school. My dad, for some background, my dad played and grew up in Missoula. He went to Montana Western, played there. So I have a lot of family from Montana, so I just thought it was a good spot. It was really one of my only offers coming out of high school, so just decided to commit, and it was a really good decision.
So, Alaska and California, right? So we kind of want to talk about high school basketball, what that looks like from where you guys are from versus kind of we can offer our input about what it's like here.
Yeah. So California basketball is obviously super competitive. You got, some of the best players, in my opinion, some of the best players in the country play high school basketball in California. My school in particular, I think we were 2A at the time, so I wasn't playing against the most elite players, or at least in conference play, but our non-conference play, my senior year in particular, we played against Sierra Canyon, included Bronny James, Amari Bailey. I think Lamar Odom's nephew might have been on that team, so that game was pretty ugly for my team, but California, or high school basketball in California is really competitive, I think, but I really enjoyed it.
I'd say Alaska's probably pretty similar to Montana. Obviously not a whole lot. There's the Anchorage schools that have a lot of athletes and stuff, and a lot more people than probably any city in Montana, but not a whole lot of kids going like D1 or even going to college to play basketball. But it's probably more competitive than most people think. I was able to during the summer times, in between school and stuff, bring like a travel team, and that's when I'd get like most of our looks. It would just be full of Alaska kids, and we'd compete. So I think there's a lot of talent. One of the better players, one of my like just biggest rivals and competitors that I played against, Isaiah Moses. He's at Eastern Washington. He's really good. Who else? Dacian Nix. I grew up playing against him. He moved out of state to Vegas. He's in the G League right now. There's a couple other even in the Big Sky. This kid Trey Barr I used to play against at NAU. And then my friend Braden, who's playing really well at Seattle U right now too. So there's a lot of good players that come out of Alaska that a lot of people might not realize.
Yeah, for sure. So talking about, I guess, different levels of high school and conferences and that stuff. So like Montana, what we've talked about in the past with football and all sports, you have AA, A, B, and C for your schools. And then that essentially is like highest population down to the lowest. So like Bozeman and Gallatin here are AA because we're the biggest. So what did conferences or class kind of look like for both you guys?
For me, we did 1A was the smallest, and then it'd go 2A, 3A, all the way up to 4A. I was a 4A school, and then the 1A and 2A schools were like kind of like the small like villages up all around Alaska that no one really knows a lot about, and then 3A was kind of like the smaller like Christian schools or like just kind of schools that are kind of big but just still a little small, and then 4A was just the rest of us. So
I think California is a little different because I know there's an open division, and I think they do it. I think they rank it by the best teams because I know you can get bumped up from 2AA to 2A. That's what my high school did. So I think open division was the best, and there was 1A and 1AA, 2A, 2AA. I'm pretty sure it was just by like kind of like how your season went the year before. I don't think it was as much about size. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, I remember teams would always bounce between open 1 and 2 depending on how they did the season before. And then obviously it goes up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all those. But I never really played any teams that high.
Cool. Just kind of want to touch on recruitment process for you guys, what that looked like when you kind of started to think about college basketball, teams reaching out, and then Jed, you mentioned ultimately coming to Montana State, making that decision pretty quick after you were here. So recruitment process, what did that look like for both you guys?
So I didn't really know if I wanted to or if I even could play college basketball until like I think my breakout like season was like my sophomore year, and then had a few like smaller schools contact me, and like I'd go to camps in the summertime, but there's 2 colleges in Alaska that they're D2, and I had relationships with the coaches there, but I was kind of hoping to just move out of state. So COVID hit, and my plans of like going out during the summertime kind of just couldn't happen anymore because of obviously COVID. So the looks I would get just probably wouldn't happen. So I was talking to Montana State and the old coaching staff with Coach Sprinkle. I was talking to them, and then they never saw me play in person. They saw a bunch of film of me. They never came up all the way up to Alaska to watch a game, and obviously during COVID I couldn't go down to like any tournaments or anything like that. So they offered me, and I talked with my family for a long time about it. And like I said, my dad grew up in Missoula. I have cousins and grandparents who live here, so I just thought it was a great fit and probably the best decision.
For me, I think my sophomore year of high school was kind of when I decided, like, okay, I can play college basketball. I had a pretty good year playing varsity basketball as a sophomore. And then my junior year, I definitely exploded and became the player like I always thought I could be. And I would say after my junior year is when I started personally sending out, they always tell you send out emails to coaches and find the lists on their website. So I was going from honestly from D3 to D1. I didn't really know where I stood in that chart or in that range, but I just wanted to play college basketball somewhere. Got a couple responses. When you email enough people, some people are going to respond. And I kind of told them just keep an eye out for me senior year. And then unfortunately, COVID came, and That definitely muffed everything up a little. But I found this. It's called Southern California Academy. I played there for a couple of months my senior year of high school, and then that summer I played for the AAU team that was affiliated with Southern California Academy. That definitely helped me get me some looks. We had a short season my senior year of high school. I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but we had a short season my senior year of high school for about 2 or 3 months, and I played really well. Had my career high that year. I scored 62 points, and I think that definitely put me on the radar. It's kind of hard to miss a kid when they score that many points. So that definitely got me some attention, got me some hype kind of going into the AAU season. Got some looks, some coaches that really liked me, but most people kind of told me either A, they were looking at the transfer portal because that was kind of the first year that it blew up, or B, they ran out of scholarships because they saw me too late, so they were like, you can take a prep year and we'll offer you. And that's kind of actually what happened with Montana State. There were a couple other schools that did that. So I ended up taking visits. I took a visit to Cal State Fullerton. I liked them. I liked their coaching staff a lot. I was close to taking a visit to the University of Hawaii, but then Montana State was kind of jumping on me by that November deadline for my prep year, and they really liked me. I came on a visit here. I checked out the team, saw young Pat, saw the rest of the guys, and I kind of had a feeling they were going to have a good season. And then what do you know, they end up going to March Madness that year. I committed, though, like 3 days after my visit because I loved Bozeman, even though it was really cold and I'm from California. I loved Bozeman. Everywhere we ate around Bozeman, there were people coming up to the table and saying hi to me, saying hi to the coaching staff. So the community support, I know every Bobcat athlete talks about it, but the community support is real here. And there's no better place to be in the Big Sky.
Yeah, for sure. I think we sound like a broken record every time we talk about it, but all the athletes talk about how big of a part the community is in playing for the Bobcats, about how Bozeman is still like small enough of a place where everyone can be involved, and they talk about the community is just the best part about it. So it's nice to hear that across the board from all sports we've had on. This is super cool. So another question for both you guys: when deciding on coming to Montana State, was there something about Montana State that set them aside from other schools? Was there a specific deciding factor? How did that look?
I think when I told my friends, and only my mom came on my visit with me, but when I told my friends and some of my other family members that I was coming to Montana to take a visit at Montana State, they kind of looked at me just because, like we don't really come to Montana that often, or at least I didn't. So I kind of went in just open-minded, not sure what I would think of the place. But then when I came here, I kind of came about this time of the year, and it had just snowed, and I thought the mountains were beautiful. I'm not even a big nature guy, but when we landed and we were flying over Montana, my mom and I just couldn't stop talking about how beautiful it was. Definitely when I was on my visit, the old coaching staff and all the players just really included me in everything. And I think that's a big part that Pat and I do still to this day. Whenever we have recruits or anyone, it's important you make them feel a part of the team, even if they haven't committed here yet. So that was a big factor for me. And then like we mentioned before, just the support from the community and everyone involved with Bobcat athletics.
Yeah, sure. So, Pat, kind of talking to you about your time with the Cats so far, you've had to deal with some injuries through your time. If you kind of want to touch on that and that process of dealing with injuries.
Yeah, it was kind of tough, but I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise because I got to kind of sit back and view our team and all the games from a different perspective, and I also got to really work on myself in the weight room and stuff like that. Because I came in super I'm still very skinny, but I was really really skinny. I think I weighed 180, 185. I'm up to 200 now, so I definitely needed that. Then watching every game, getting a front row seat to every game, it just it sucked not being a part of it, but I was able to just kind of visualize myself and really get ready for next year. And yeah, it was definitely mentally challenging, but it was kind of just made me more grateful to be healthy. So it definitely all worked out in the end for sure.
Cool. Do you guys have favorite moment or moments with the Cats so far?
Favorite moment? I mean, gotta be going to March Madness. Like, I did it 3 times. He's done it twice. And that's kind of a unforgettable. Like, I'm just gonna remember that experience for life. We got rings and everything, so it was. We got our banner up in the gym the years that we were both on the team. Like, that's pretty unforgettable. Also, playing the Grizz is like most colleges don't have a rivalry like that. So that's just a once in a lifetime thing you get to experience as well.
Yeah, kind of like what he said, going to March Madness is what every kid dreams about doing. So for us to do it, not once, for me twice, him 3 times, and maybe even another time this year is special. But my sophomore year, when we played the Grizz in the conference tournament championship and won, I think that was just like one of the greatest feelings that probably him, but for me definitely experienced, because that team. We kind of struggled a little bit my sophomore year. Like, our record was just around 500, and so going to the tournament, people overlooked us. Even maybe some of our fans might have been like, "Yeah, this might not be the year." But then for like the group of guys that we had on that team to accomplish what we did is kind of it's inspiring, really.
For sure, it's been fun watching you guys play in the tournament over the last couple years. It's super cool to go from watching you guys play here in Bozeman to watching you guys on ESPN playing these big teams. So it's certainly been fun to watch over the years. So, yeah, kind of going back to growing up and getting into basketball. Were you guys basketball from the get-go, or did you play other sports growing up too?
Yeah. Like I mentioned the story about me throwing socks into the laundry basket. That definitely kind of made me decide like basketball is my favorite sport. But I think like most younger kids, you have to try a couple different sports. So I played soccer for like 2 years. I was really like not that skilled, but I was kind of a good defender just because I knew I couldn't let the ball get past me. So I played like center defense or whatever it's called. Not very good though, so got away from that. Tried lacrosse for a year. I had an older brother who played, and he was kind of good, so they thought it might run in the family, but no, it didn't run in the family, so I quit that after a year. And then I gave baseball a shot, and that was fine, but too much standing, so basketball ultimately became the favorite.
Yeah, my whole family, like literally everybody in my family played basketball growing up. My dad was he coached like my little league teams and everything. I tried a few other sports. I tried soccer and baseball, like the t-ball where they'd put it in the machine and it would shoot at you, but I didn't really enjoy those as much as basketball. I played football in high school one year. It was like COVID season, so we only had like 3 or 4 games, but it was pretty fun. I like football, but it was just basketball for me.
Just basketball. Cool. All right, you guys should get a little bit of Q&A.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have a few from this week. Some are guest specific and some are for both of you. We'll start off with our first one here.
Hey, sorry, before we start, thank you again for Instagram Q&A. So the day of the podcast, you guys know this by now, the day of the podcast, put out a thing, ask for questions from the fans, which we've been doing good so far for the 14 weeks we've had. And if you guys turn around, you see up in the corner there, our Instagram questions leader, Spencer Wilkinson. So he's on the hockey team. He somehow managed to get 16. I'm not quite sure how, but we tell our athletes each week when you come on, get going with the people, put in your questions. So look forward to beating 16, hopefully at some point this year. I don't know who it'll be, but we'll see.
We'll see.
16 is a record to beat.
All right, our first question here is from Tucker Milliken. Do you have any fun AAU memories or teams that you played against?
Yeah. Okay. I had a fun memory when I was in 8th grade. My AAU team wasn't very good, but when you always see those teams who have all the kids surrounding their court, I was not the one playing on the court, but I got to watch Marvin Bagley, if you know who that is. He put a kid on a poster right in front of everyone, and it was one of those moments when like everyone storms the court. So that's the quickest one that comes to mind, but that was pretty fun.
Okay, I have a good one. So for me, like AAU wasn't a huge thing. Like I said, we'd go to like one tournament each summer, but there's this one tournament we went to in Vegas where there was like our league, which was kind of a lower league we were in, and then like the invite-only league that had like all the top prospects in the country. we went and just watched a few games, and it was at Bishop Gorman High School or something like that. And they had like Jalen Suggs, Chet Holmgreen, Jalen Green, Josh Christopher, like a couple other guys who are in the NBA right now. And we watched them play, and there's a super viral dunk where this guy named like Jimma Gatwich or something. I don't know if you've heard of him, but yeah, he went. It was on a fast break. He stole the ball from Chet Holmgreen, and then went down and like put the ball under both legs and dunked it. And then it was like went super viral. So it was just cool to be there. And then another one. It was the same trip. My friends, they're like, our coach was like, "Hey, do you guys want to go watch Bronny play?" But like, I don't know, like me and some other teammates were like kind of tired and wanted to chill at the crib. And then they all went, watched Bronny, and then they saw LeBron like walk in the side entrance, and they all like said what's up to him. And I missed out, but they all got a cool video. So definitely missed out on that, but it was pretty cool.
All right. Next question is from Carly Torsdahl. Has there been a fellow player that has been your biggest inspiration during your entire career?
Yeah, I would say for me being a point guard, we've had some really good point guards past couple of years. So Darius Brown and Rob Ford, I'd say are my biggest inspiration. I try to take little chunks from their games and kind of incorporate it in my game, just with Darius' vision and the leader that he was my freshman year. And then Rob, of course, everyone knows the year he had. My sophomore year, he was unreal. So I try and take little chunks from both of them.
Yeah, I'd say them for sure. I'd say all the seniors and upperclassmen when I was a freshman were huge inspirations because just like coming in as a freshman, you kind of you have this like just adjustment you have to make where it's you're working as hard as you've ever worked in your whole life, and you know it's kind of tough for a little bit, and then you get used to it. But just like seeing how they hold themselves and carry themselves throughout practice and throughout games, and how confident they are, is just seeing that as a freshman, like guys like Jabril. I don't know if you guys remember like Amin Adamu and Abdul Muhammad, like those guys. Just seeing what it's like to be. I mean, they're all pros right now playing professionally, so seeing what it's like to be a pro, which is my dream, they definitely inspired me in that sense.
All right. Next one here from – we got some more questions here. This is good.
Yeah.
I like this. All right. From Ethan Waldo for Patrick, what are your opinions on Danny Waldo as a teacher?
Danny Waldo, he's a cool guy. He's I'm in a coaching class right now. He's teaching about coaching.
Nice.
But yeah, his class is pretty nice, pretty laid back and chill. You know, not a whole bunch of homework, which is pretty nice. But it's actually a pretty interesting class. I'm not like huge into like school. I've never gotten like a super high GPA or anything. But like that's a class I can, just because I've been around coaching my whole life, so it's something I actually am interested in and can pay attention to. But yeah, he's a cool guy for sure.
Fun. All right, our next one here, also from Ethan Waldo, is for Jed. Who is your favorite Jedi?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably a basic one. Just gonna go Luke.
Oh.
Come on, bro. What's wrong with Luke Skywalker?
Anakin's better. Mace Windu's better.
No, Luke Skywalker, the GOAT.
Good answer. Love it. Brady, you want to get the next one there?
Yep. Next one, also from Ethan. This is for both of you guys. Was there any culture shock with moving to Montana?
For me, not really. I'd say this is like very similar to back home for me. So this feels like home. Like the weather, the mountains, they're all just something I'm used to. Even the people. So yeah, I don't think there's a big culture shock for me.
It was a really big culture shock for me, but in a great way. It wasn't nothing wrong about it. But I remember my freshman year, I was driving around with some of my teammates and just seeing all the open land and just seeing, I know it sounds crazy, guys, but just seeing like horses right next to the road was just absolutely bizarre to me because like he's seen where I'm from whenever we played like CSUN or even Long Beach this past weekend we played. And, you know, there's just like California, there's just buildings everywhere. There's people everywhere. So seeing all like the open space was definitely weird for me to adjust to. But in terms of the people, not a whole lot. You know, I try to block out some of the people in California who I don't like. So not a whole lot in terms of people here.
Nice. Our next question here is from Ryan Kuntz. This one's for Jed. What has been the best and worst part about living in Montana?
I'd say the worst part I think is pretty obvious. It's got to be just the constant like feeling of being cold. When you grow up in California, there's no such thing as winter really. The coldest it gets is 60 degrees or maybe 50s. 50s. That's been the worst part, but I've learned to love it, and like being inside in a warm room when it's snowing outside, or actually getting to have a white Christmas has been really fun to celebrate in Montana. And then the best part, I guess I just said a little bit. The best part, probably just, I know you get nice sunsets in California, but I don't think there's a better sunset in the country than in Montana. Maybe I'm wrong for people who have been all across the country, but it's pretty nice. I have a little too many photos on my phone of, just the orange and the pink sunsets that you see every night.
Nice. Love it. All right. Next one here is for Pat. Outside of the brick, what is the most intense place you've played a game?
Outside of the okay. My sophomore year, Jed was there. We played GCU, and I don't think I've played in a place like that before. Like 60 minutes before the game, when we're there getting warmed up, like all of the super fans are already there, like the game's about to start, like talking trash, like while you're warming up, and apparently they're camping out. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
They're really into it. I think our next game, Utah State, will be pretty similar to that, but we've played in some good environments, good gyms, but nothing like GCU.
Cool. And then this last one here is from Amelia Kuntz. Similar question, but for both of you, what's your favorite place that you've played outside of the brick?
Outside of the brick. Yeah, go ahead.
For me, we just had a really, really close game versus Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
Our whole team was kind of just taking it in right before tip-off. Like, if you looked around, I don't know if any of you have been in Boise State's arena, but it's 3 stories. They have orange, blue, gray seats everywhere. The light show they do before the game inside the arena, I don't know, it was really cool. It's probably my favorite place that I've played, and I think some of the other guys on our team would agree, especially this year.
Nice. Yeah, I saw I don't remember who it was. It was one of the guys' stories, picture from the arena. I was like, whoa. I'd never seen it before.
Yeah, no, they
That was
did it.
pretty
They
cool.
did a good job with all the lights pregame and during
Nice.
the game.
That's fun.
I'm trying to think. I feel like all these big schools like Boise State, I'm thinking Arizona, I'm thinking Wisconsin, Oregon. I mean, they didn't have a whole lot of fans, but yeah, I mean, I'd still say maybe GCU, even Boise State. Just the environment is just super fun. Their arenas are huge. Colorado, my freshman year, this year it wasn't as filled with people, but my freshman year is completely sold out. So yeah, there's been a lot of cool venues we've been at.
It's fun. All right, that wraps up Instagram Q&A. Thank you guys for putting in the questions. Really appreciate it. So now we kind of get into our own rapid-fire questions here. So kind of go back and forth, however you guys want to do it. But first question here, favorite place to eat in Bozeman?
Yeah, that's tough. Y'all might not like this answer, but we don't have it back in Alaska, and I love it. It's Chipotle.
Wow.
That's a good answer.
All right.
I can't say Chipotle because I have it too much at home, and Pat just said it. So, I like Ale Works.
It works great.
Good
Nice.
spot.
All right. Next one here, favorite thing or things to do outside of basketball?
My favorite thing, this is in Montana, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Over the summer, I took a lot. We both took a lot of the new guys floating the river, the Madison River. That's always fun. I've done it a bunch now, but always fun with new guys.
For me, something maybe a lot of people might not know. Pretty big gamer. Like any game, like I'm buying it, playing it. Big into Fortnite, 2K, all that stuff. So if it's cold out, I'm not big into hunting or fishing. I'd like to get into that stuff, but when it's basketball season, I can't really do much outside. When it's cold, I'm on the game a lot for sure.
All right. Kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but who has been the biggest impact or influence in your journey so far?
Man, it's tough. So yeah, go ahead.
If I had to pick one, it's gonna go to Darius Brown, because even during my freshman year, it's hard to play as a freshman, hard to get on the court, but he would kind of share his experiences and let me see it through his lens, and I think that helped me grow a lot as a freshman. And to this day, actually, we're both very close with Darius, and I'd say I call him once or twice a week, and he watches all of our games. He's in the G League for the Cleveland Charge, but Cleveland Cavs G League team, so I watch his games, and we're always talking basketball and complimenting each other's games and kind of coaching each other. So he's definitely my biggest inspiration.
I think the people that have been most impactful to me are just my parents and my sister and my brother. They're my biggest fans. They're always watching all my games, always coming to all my games, even though I might not invite them or talk to them that much about it. They're just always super into it, and it just motivates me, knowing they're watching and knowing they care so much, just to play as hard as I can and work as hard as I can.
Nice. Cool. Our next question on here, if you could play any other sport, what would it be and why?
Okay.
If you had the perfect ability to do that sport.
If you can play any sport professionally, what's it going to be?
Got it. Honestly, I've started to enjoy this sport in the last 2 years, and if I had the perfect skill set for it, I think MMA would be the coolest thing ever. I don't have any experience in any type of combat, martial art or anything like that, but it's one of my favorite sports to watch, and I think that'd be the coolest thing ever to be in the UFC or something like that. So
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
I think that's the most abstract answer we've had so
we
far.
haven't had one of those before.
Nice.
I think that's up there with water polo.
Yeah. Who said water polo?
Water polo?
okay,
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't. Was it?
I think it was a football player.
I can't remember. Maybe Seth.
Might have been Seth.
Yeah. We'll think about it.
We'll have to go look back.
All right.
Mine, I don't have as cool of an answer. I'd probably just say football. I think being a really talented wide receiver is one of the coolest things, and everyone looks at you like you're just different than the rest. So probably just being a really talented wide receiver.
All right. Let's see. Touched on that. Let's see. If you could give one piece of advice to the younger generation of athletes, what would it be?
I think I don't know. This might be an obvious answer, but just stay in the gym every day, even if you feel like it might be an off day or a rest day. Do something to literally anything to get just a tiny bit better. Watch film, watch a YouTube video on how to, I don't know, anything. Obviously, stay in the gym, get shots up, and work on your game, but you can't do that 24/7. So just figuring out something to do that isn't wasting your time, watching a whole bunch of TV all day or scrolling on your phone. Just trying to figure out some way to get 1% better.
Yeah, I agree with Pat. I would say the biggest thing for younger athletes now is try to avoid any social media attention that you're getting, because it can always build you up in a way that might make you feel good, but to other people they're looking at why is he acting like that? So I think social media can be good, but also it can be really bad. I sound like an old person because I live in this era too, but you definitely got to kind of stay in your own lane and not worry about what other people are thinking about you just because you see something on social media. And then just to piggyback off Pat, just work on yourself every day. You can't want to do something just because the person next to you is wanting to do it. You have to kind of have this own motivation to get better on your own, no matter what sport you play or what kind of athlete you are. You got to stay in the gym and just work on yourself every day.
Yeah, love it. Great answers. Okay, favorite place to go in Bozeman? It's like a hangout spot or something of that nature.
I feel like it's hard in season because we're super focused on games and practice and stuff. But I would say my apartment complex, we would hang out a few times every week. Our whole team would just go to the pool, make some burgers. So that was kind of our hangout spot this summer. Can't really, we hang out a lot, like pretty much spend our whole day at the Brick. So I don't know, it's kind of tough, but yeah, I can't think of anything else.
All right. Simple as that.
Next question here. What's your favorite song and or artist right now?
I think Drake is might be one of the greatest artists like ever. And I'm not big into like country or anything like that, but like really big into hip hop, R&B, even like pop and stuff. But I think Drake's my all-time favorite artist. And I think he's like up there with like Michael Jackson and stuff. So
I wouldn't say I have really a favorite artist. I think I listen to a lot of different genres of music. I like country a little bit more than him. It's not my favorite, but I like hip hop. I like rap. My favorite song right now that I'm playing, what have I been bumping lately?
Feel No Ways.
Yeah, that's probably our team song this year. Feel No Ways by Drake. So I'll say that's probably my favorite one.
Nice.
All right. Good deal.
Yep. Moving on to the Bobcat Weekly question of the week.
Go ahead.
We've asked all the players this so far. 10 have said yes, 1 has said no. Carson Williams. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
Wow.
So 10 have said yes, 2 have said no now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 have said no.
No, pineapple does not belong on pizza. You shouldn't be putting fruits on pizza. You agree, Pat?
Oh man. I think it's fine, honestly. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had it, but I don't think it's like completely disgusting. And if you like it, you like it, but I'm not a super picky eater, so I think it's fine.
Broke the curse of the one sitting alone.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's 10 yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You had a better reaction than Carson, though. Carson said that anyone who likes pineapple on pizza is mentally insane.
Oh.
All right,
So-
that's too far.
Well, you look at him on the
Coming
field
from
and you
Carson,
understand.
it's really not. But
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. Well, Carson has someone to go along with his no now. So
Yep.
there you go.
Great. Moving on to the trivia question for this week. I tried to get a basketball themed one for this week. So, and I'll ask you the question, then if you guys don't know, you can phone a friend to help you out with the question. But the question is, what is the highest seed Montana State has ever earned in the March Madness tournament?
13.
It's close.
It's close. 12.
No, 14. It went 22. Yeah, it was 14.
Yeah.
You should have known.
Close.
All right. Moving on to a bit of recap here. Starting off with football. Huge win in the brawl, 31-28.
Yes.
Huge win for the guys, securing that number 2 seed. Vegan seemed very pleased with how the guys played. I was pleased with how he played. With the only thing that I think we probably could have done better was our tackling, but I think that was both teams probably just heat of the moment, and I think it was a mix of losing our leverage and trying to smack dudes too hard, so we would miss our wraps. But overall, very good game for the guys. We had another pick 6 for Caden Dallas. So that's 5 turnovers in the last 3 games, which is huge for him. He actually earned Defensive Player of the Year for the Big Sky today, and first team all-conference, right?
It's 3 weeks in a row for the Defensive Player of the Week.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
back
then
to
year
back.
this year. And then I think these 2 plays were really what won us this game was that pick 6 and then the blocked field goal by Zach Cruz.
Yeah.
Because it's a 3-point win, and that would have tied up the game right there. So huge block by Zach Cruz secured us that number 2 seed and home field advantage up until Nashville. So
Yeah.
what are our thoughts on the game there?
Thought it was a good game. Another kind of like the Cats have been doing the last couple weeks, a slow start. I was kind of a little concerned in the first half. And then it was almost like the Davis game, which we talked about. It kind of was Caden Dowler pick 6, kind of like flipped that switch. And then the Cats were like, oh, yeah, we can do this. And then kind of the rest took it. But, yeah, it was a fun game.
I was very impressed. Well-coached game. Had minimal errors.
Very chippy.
Yep.
Yeah.
As always, as it will
Yes.
be. But I was impressed. Vegan coached that game very well. I did want to point out, I think it was before halftime, if I can remember, they put Sandstead out for how long was that field goal?
I think it was 50-something.
50-something. So it was 10 yards past his record. And we got the TV angle from the backside or from the front side from the end zone.
Yeah.
But I definitely think he had the leg for that.
Yeah, which was
It was
good.
off, so just wanted to point that out because he's been hitting those long ones for us when we're in need, and I think throwing out there and wanting him to go do 10 yards past your record is a little insane. He'd be like, hey, all right, go do this. So I think he did what he needed to get done. It was a long one, but overall he didn't miss a single PAT. But I do think our offensive line could have played a little bit better. I know the Grizz defense does like to rush the quarterback.
Yeah, they threw a couple good blitzes in there that kind of we didn't pick them up quite so well, but yeah.
But I think that's kind of like always your quarterback can't be 100% all the time, so we folded under pressure a few times. But the few times we did get around the Grizz, we did get a wide open receiver near the end zone and got those touchdowns in.
Yeah, and I mean there was a couple plays there where Lamson had a great rushing game in my opinion. He
did, yeah.
Anytime he got out of that pocket, he was usually, if he couldn't get the ball away, he was usually scrambling. And I mean, he had that one where he scrambled, I think it was 30 yards for a touchdown. So good game for him. Good game for all the guys, I think. I mean, obviously some things you need to work on, but that's how it goes in those big games.
Yeah, for sure. Did you guys get to watch a game?
Yeah, we watched it. I think we caught the end of it. We landed. Who did we play? We played Long Beach. Yeah, we landed around 1:30, I think. So I caught some of the second half, but we both always assume our football team is going to win because for the longest since I've been here, I don't know how many games they've lost, but I know our football team's elite. So I don't know as much as you guys know about it, but we always have high hopes for them. So
yeah, for sure. And chippy again, as Cat Grizz is for just about every sport, and that's what you expect.
Yeah.
But like we talked about last week, he limited the procedural penalties.
We did.
We
just
was
had
cool.
We did a couple at the beginning of the game that
Yeah.
cost us a touchdown, in my opinion. But I mean, it is what it is. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
It seemed like the refs were definitely letting us play. I mean, the only real penalty they called was Kenny when he hit that dude's helmet off, which that one was earned. I think he deserved that one. And the funny thing was we were all watching it together, and they bring him down, and I'm getting fired up, and I'm like, rip his helmet off as a joke, and then Kenny ripped his helmet off, and I'm like, no, I wasn't being serious.
I do want to point out I got the stats pulled up from the game. Lamson was 18 for 20, which was probably close to his season high. Ayat, I think you say his name. Yep. He was 26 for 32. He did have more yards than Lamson total, but I definitely think Lamson played the better game.
Yeah, for sure. Lamson had like 112 rushing yards, I feel like, and he had 18 carries.
He was up there, yeah.
He had 80 yards for 15 carries. Then Julius Davis at the top, 15 carries for 106 yards.
Yeah, for sure. And you got to give the Grizz credit. I mean, they played a good football game. Ayat threw the ball well. They played well. Cats just were the better team today. And it's not saying the Grizz aren't a good team this year because they certainly are. They're 11-1 now. So, yeah, but Cats just played the better game. So, yeah, excited to get rolling in the playoffs.
Obviously, you see all the videos of the players celebrating and taunting the Grizz fans, and they're taunting back, which is what you get in rivalry. And you see guys like Carson, and they're what they're doing. They're fired up. And then you see the video of Seth Brock just going like this to all the fans walking off the field. I'm like, yeah, there's your difference between Carson and Seth. But, I mean, obviously the Grizz fans get a little mad about us taunting them. It's like, well, you guys do the same.
They did the same thing. And there was a couple stories I saw on the Twitter, and I'm not sure how true they are, but about Grizz fans throwing certain things at the Cat players. And I'm like, well, you can't really complain if you're being like that too. So,
but I think
it's both ways in a rivalry.
Yeah.
So.
It does feel good to win on their turf finally for once.
It does, yeah. First time Vegan has.
Yeah.
First time Vegan won.
Yeah, and I know he's wanted that.
I realized this as we were driving, but our little Mercyhurst 2-5 chant that we do.
Yeah.
We can keep doing that now because that is now Bobby's record in the brawl.
Good.
For his second term.
Since they rehired him.
Yep, he's 2-5.
Love to hear that. All right. Yeah. Moving on to volleyball now. They wrapped up their season this past week. They've ended their season with 3 losses, so not exactly how volleyball wants to finish up the season, but it's how it goes. So losing 5 last Thursday to Idaho State and then get swept by Weber State on Saturday. And then they did get that Big Sky Conference tournament bid, which we did talk about. But then they did fall in 5 to Northern Colorado on Monday. It was a super fun match to watch. I know you watched as well.
Yeah, very tight game.
Yeah, very even matchup. Cats played well throughout the whole match. so did Northern Colorado. But with the tournament being in Greeley, like we mentioned, they have the home court advantage. So I think they just kind of ended up on top. And the Cats lost 15-13 in the 5th set. So it was very close.
Close game. The girls fought very hard. I think good season for them. Excited to see what we can get out of them next year. We got some good younger players on the team.
Yes,
with,
a lot.
Mackenzie and Tegan we had on earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and only losing 4 seniors and 4 very big impact players. So Cameron Greenwald, Lauren Linseth, Madeline Siebler, and Greta Lawson, all very pivotal and important parts of that volleyball team. So certainly losing a lot. But like we have mentioned all season, they have a very young team. So their shoes will be filled, and they have big shoes to fill, with especially like Linseth having a monster season like she did. So it's all about filling the shoes and come back strong next year, which I have all the confidence they will. So, yeah, finished 13-15 on the season, 8-8 conference record. So, definitely I think had a very good coaching season, considering he had, I think, almost majority of freshmen on that team, a couple sophomores, like a junior, and then a couple seniors. So, a lot of new faces in the building. I think him and the staff did a very nice job adjusting to a lot of new people. So, certainly fun to watch. Like we talked last week, too, it seems like the season just kind of flew by. Like it was September, and now it's the end of November. So, yeah, but overall, wrapped up for them. But, yeah, that just about does it for volleyball this year. So, yeah.
Very exciting. I know Coach Auk is still considered new at the university, and he's definitely made himself a name so far. So I think I think it's only up from here, because I think he made the what's essentially the NIT, but they won the entire tournament that year. 2 years ago. So obviously you can't have a perfect season every season, and you can't have a perfect coach. But I think Coach Matt and Jen are doing a good job. Yep. And I do want to point out one of our former guests, Mackenzie Jackson. She got in quite a bit in the games and performed
she played
very
almost
well.
the entire match.
Yeah.
Good for her.
I think they're just like on that like bubble of the red shirt, like preserving the red shirt, and I think they probably did. So she may be able to get another year out of it. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think anything postseason counts towards your red
No,
shirt.
so it should be fine. So
Yep.
yeah, good stuff. Brady, you want to talk hockey?
Yep. The boys get back in the win columns. They sweep in the Beehive Showcase down in Utah, picking up 4 wins. First one against LMU. They won 10-4. Then Northern Arizona to 3-1. Then GCU also to 3-1, and then Cal 8-4. So a huge momentum shifter for the boys, coming off of a 6-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Kind of snapped their streak there. I think I watched a little bit of the LMU game, and it looked like they were angry, and they should be. And they found their momentum. I think they're up, like, they had 5 goals in the first, 2 in the second, and then finished it out in the third. And I think a stat that I saw, I think half of their goals came from empty nets, which is a little interesting for hockey to be having that many on empty nets. But
they got it done. They did it. So
overall, it's carrying some very good momentum into the Cat Grizz weekend coming up soon.
for sure.
That is next Saturday.
that is next Friday, Saturday. Yeah.
They play in Helena Friday.
Yep.
We'll get to that, but same day as the playoff game, actually. But we'll talk about that next week. But
Do you guys know much about the men's club hockey team here?
I've heard that we're pretty good, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard we're pretty good. I don't follow them super closely, but I know we have a good reputation.
Yeah, so we had our questions leader, our good buddy Spencer, on week 7, I believe. I think a lot of people, like we talked about, think club sports, just like kind of the buddies get together to play hockey or whatever. And that's what I thought too. And then they make it to the club national championship last year, and it was like, oh, these guys are kind of legit. And then we went to the first game this year. They opened their season against Boise State. It was packed. There's a couple thousand people there.
There's a line out the door when we got there. And
line out the door.
Oh, this is serious.
And they're really, really good. Like they think they hold like a week and a half of tryouts. Like it's this whole big process for a club team. And Spencer said, like, for a club team, we're pretty legit. And they're I think on the verge of almost actually becoming a NCAA D1
President
team.
Tessman did talk about that on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, certainly fun to watch. So if you guys get the chance to go watch them, definitely do, because they're fun to watch.
Where do they play at?
Haynes Pavilion down at the fairgrounds.
Oh.
There's two rinks down there. They play in the bigger one.
Nice.
Yep. All right. Moving on to women's basketball. They split their 2 games this past week, taking a huge 94-81 win over UNLV and falling short to Troy, 60-74. That UNLV game, it was a super fun game to watch. I know.
Yeah.
Were all 3 of us there?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a great game. The team was firing on all cylinders. Addison Harris had 26 points. Taylor Chiric had 16, and Tegan Erickson had 13 points.
I think that
Career high for Addie, or does it
I think
tie
it tied her career
Tied it,
high.
yeah.
Yeah, great game for the girls. I know that game was so much fun to watch. I mean, the UNLV coach was getting chippy, and I mean, even right there at the end, we really took off and just destroyed him.
Yeah. She was borderline technical. It was
I think she
close.
probably could have gotten a few in that game. But, great game for the girls. I think they should be very pleased with that win.
Yeah.
And then they had their first loss of the season at Troy on Monday. We had a slow start to the game, sort of failed short trying to set that tone in the first quarter.
Yeah.
We hung pretty close against a good mid-major with Troy. They're in the Sun Belt. But obviously it was not the Cavs' best game offensively, shooting 32 from the field and just 18% from the arc. We were able to cut the deficit a bit in the second half. We just fell short of our comeback there. But, first loss for the girls, but I think playing at a tougher school, I think that's pretty good. I mean, and they had a win against Missouri earlier this year too. So
Yeah, they did.
They
So
are a good team.
That Troy team is very good. So and considering the girls held with them for most of the games, impressive. So, definitely not the outcome the Cats wanted, but that's how it goes. But moving on to men's basketball. Past week, picking up 2 games down the Battle of the Beach, 92-55 over Noble, and 78-72 over Long Beach State. So against Noble, big margin win for the Cats, 4 in double-digit figures, and then against Long Beach State, 5 in double-digit figures, including both you guys, both those games. So kind of want to talk through the weekend and how that 2 stretch of games went, and just kind of overall thoughts and kind of what else you guys have.
Yeah, both of us and our team and our coaching staff was really happy with how the weekend went. Obviously, going on the road and getting 2 wins is always, it's a great feeling, one of the best feelings you can get. And especially with the rough schedule that we've kind of had to start the season, we've kind of been in all of these games that we've played, despite them being, versus Colorado and Stanford, Boise State. We kind of felt they were all winnable games, and even though even though the school gets paid to go play, we don't treat it as like, oh, let's just go and mess around. Like, we're still going to try and win. So for us to string some wins together feels really good for us. We're going to try and keep that momentum going at Utah State on Saturday. We're trying not to let any more of these, we call them peer-to-peer, any more of these non-bye games slip away from us after what happened versus Denver. We feel like that we let that one get away from us, so we're going to try and keep this momentum going.
Yeah, he said it perfectly. We really needed that, both those wins, just to get our confidence going. Like we felt like we could have won. We could like really be undefeated right now. Just a couple possessions and not being able to close out close games is what just got us, and just being able to close out a close game against a good D1 team is just huge for our confidence.
Yeah. So that the team you guys, that Noble team you guys played, what's the deal with that team? Because I don't think I've heard of them before. Where are they from?
I think they're from California, but I think they just became. I think they just got a basketball team 2 years ago.
I don't think they're NCAA really yet.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they got a lot of athletes. They're coached hard, but yeah, they're just a new team. Been a basketball team for 2-3 years, so I think they'll get a lot better. I think, what are they, D2? Did you know?
I think they're D2.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've had a couple close losses this year, but against really good teams. And how do you guys think that'll help propel you guys through the season as we get through the end of the non-conference play and into conference play?
I think it'll help us big time. I feel like we've learned through all these film sessions and really being in the games, we've learned all the mistakes we've made, and doing it, like if we can learn these mistakes against these teams versus Stanford and Colorado and Boise State, when we go see a team, like Idaho State or Portland State, any other team in the Big Sky Conference, it should be really easy for us to kind of translate what we did wrong in those games and help us get wins in these conference play.
Cool. Yeah, you guys got anything else you want to touch on for basketball real quick?
I don't think so. If you're good.
Okay.
Excited for the season to keep going and conference
me
play to
too.
get rolling around soon.
Yep. Moving on to around the conference here.
Football around the
for
conference.
football, yeah. Last week, Northern Colorado beat Portland State 24-13. Good game for both teams. Season. Portland State able to kind of hang in there for this last game of the season. Obviously, the last game for both these teams. UNC, I think they have a chance at being a playoff contender next year if they can have a good offseason, get some good transfers in, and if they can figure out during this offseason how they can win those tight games that they've been in all year against Colorado State, South Dakota. I'm forgetting one. But, if they can get those wins next year, I think they have a chance of being on the verge of being a playoff team next year.
Yeah, I mean, like we said early on in the show, they had was that week 1 or 2 they played Colorado State?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a pretty decent-sized school, and they hung with them for most of the game, which Northern Colorado hanging with Colorado State is not something you'd think, but they did. So, yeah, we'll see what the future holds. And Portland State, unfortunately, only picks up 1 win on the season. It was a rough go for them. They finished 1-11. Yeah, I tried to hold out hope for them throughout the season, but it just didn't happen. So
Yeah, and they fired their head coach. I think it was last week. And
Yeah.
on the tarmac, which is rough. But yeah, but so hopefully coaching change there will help put Portland State in a better position next year
for sure.
being a team. Moving on, NAU lost to Weber State 28-48. Obviously a tough loss for the Jacks. That loss really dropped them out of the playoff race. I think they had a chance of coming in as either a 16 or 15 seed or an unranked team into the playoffs, but obviously with that loss last week, not even a close loss, so kind of ended their season right there. Tough loss for the Jacks. Hopefully they can figure it out during the offseason and move on to next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up here, ISU beat Idaho in their rivalry
What
game.
do they call it? What do they call the game?
Like the Potato State Bowl or something? I don't know.
Their trophy's just a wooden
It's
potato.
just a
Yeah,
giant
they
wooden
play
potato.
for a potato.
Yeah, they won 37-16. Good win for ISU. They've been a pretty solid team all year. They've had a couple tight losses to UNLV and Montana, both games that they probably could have won. So yeah, good way for them to finish off their season. And I think that they also have a good chance of being a playoff team next year. Next up here, UC Davis won 31-27 against Sac State. Close game. Davis won it in the closing seconds to stop Sac State from scoring again. Very good game for Davis. That put them into the 8th seed for the playoffs this week, so they will get a first-round bye. And then before they have to go on to play, probably after this week, they'll also go play NDSU, which will be a tough game for them, obviously.
Would love for NDSU to lose, so we
Oh,
don't
yeah,
have to play them in the championship.
That would be
That'd
great.
nice.
I'd love that. But yeah, I feel like Sac State was kind of sitting on the edge there of being that 4th Big Sky team in. But yeah, obviously with that loss, knocked him out, which I think Davis wanted to do when they won the Causeway Classic there with that giant piece of concrete. So yeah, good game for them. You guys got any thoughts on that?
Not really. Just fun seeing the Big Sky. I guess FCS Big Sky season wrap up and really see the playoff picture start to shape out. So yeah, fun to see.
Last game, Eastern lost to Cal Poly 34-43. Good win for Cal Poly. They've had some tough losses this year with that loss to Portland State and a couple other schools. I'm interested to see what comes of these programs in the offseason, if we see any coaching changes, what we get for transfers. I know Eastern lost a couple guys last year, so hopefully they can bring some guys in and see if Cal Poly, I think they also fired their coach, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So yeah, interested to see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Looking ahead, I'll start.
Okay.
All right. Women's basketball, 1 game on the slate for this next week. I think by the time we're recording next week's episode, they will. It's like right before the second. Yeah. They head down to Boulder, take on Colorado this Sunday, the 30th. It's a 1 p.m. tip-off on ESPN+. Would be great to see the ladies pick up a win down there. Kind of a bounce back after loss to Troy, so it'll certainly be interesting to see how that goes. But Cats are looking very good this year to start the season. So I would expect to see the Cats come out firing and play a competitive matchup. So, yeah, we'll certainly see how that goes.
Hopefully it's similar to how we played in that UNLV game, and we can get out in front and just
for sure
beat another good team with Colorado.
Yeah, it was definitely a down game against Troy. not as many high scores as usually are. So hopefully Cats can bounce back. And if they play like they played against UNLV, they got a shot. So,
Yep. Brady, you got any thoughts on that?
No, not really.
You guys got any thoughts?
Yeah, I think our women's team is doing a really good job. I think they set the tone last year with how hard they play. Every time we go watch them play, we're just amazed by how you can turn a team over 30-plus times in a game, because I don't even know if that's possible for us to do to another team. So we have high hopes for them all season and just continue what they did last year.
yeah. Yep. It's the turnovers and steals, man. Every game.
It's
Yeah,
unreal. Taylor is unreal.
Yes.
All the little guards and then all the freshmen they have this year, to be honest, are little pests too. So
Yeah.
they should be good this year.
Yeah. Excited to see how this year goes. Hopefully you get another Big Sky title. And
Hopefully another.
And a tournament
March
win
Madness,
would be
yeah.
the hope this year. Moving on to football. We got a bye this week. We'll talk on that. We'll touch on that a little later when we touch on the tournament. We got secured the 2 seed last week with the win in the brawl. And we'll play the winner of Yale versus Youngstown State. That game's in Youngstown State. Should be an interesting game. Yeah, and then men's hockey's off next week.
Well, and like you mentioned too, home pathway through the playoffs too, all the way to
That'll be-
Nashville, which will be sweet.
That'll
So
be huge. That was my thinking going into that game was whichever team wins this, because you're going to get that home playoff, I think they have a very solid shot of making it all the way to Nashville, because having home field all the way up until Nashville, and the Cats are amazing at home, so I think we got a great shot here.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Hockey off, like you mentioned, and then men's basketball. So you guys mentioned earlier, one game in the next week ish. So by the time the episode's out, Utah State. So that's Saturday the 29th, 2 p.m. tip off. ESPN Plus kind of talks into thoughts ahead of the game and what should we be expecting.
The Utah State's a really good team. I think they're number 27 in the country right now. So it's gonna be a good matchup for us. A really good test to see what we've really learned from these past losses. We're excited. Our team's excited. We kind of started doing our prep a couple days ago. We're excited for this one in Logan though.
Yeah, will be a really tough challenge for us, but I'm just excited to get to play. They'll have a really great environment, a lot of fans. I've heard, even though it's Thanksgiving, like pretty much the whole town of Logan's going to show up, and it'll just be a fun game to experience.
Yeah, so 2 p.m. tip-off, we said, ESPN Plus, so tune in. We'll be watching for sure, I think. Probably get a watch party together or something. But yeah. Your guys' game against Colorado, we had it on the projector for the episode.
Oh, yeah.
We were
filming
too
during it, so
we
it
were too
was just
distracted by
right
it.
here.
We should have had that one. That's fun though.
Yeah, that was a good game. Moving on. Brady, you want to talk on high school athletics?
Yes. Hold on 1 second.
He's got to fix his mic.
Are we still getting through?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
Okay. High school athletics, football is wrapping up. Glacier unfortunately taking the state title. And then also in the state, Manhattan took their Class A championship title.
That was a big game.
It was.
Same time as the brawl. I think it's the smallest distance a team has had to travel for a state championship. Just 6 miles between Three Forks and Manhattan.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah,
That
and
was a
then
cool game.
Gallatin High School had their signing week this week. Trying to remember off the top of my head.
Jada Davis signed with
Eastern Washington. Michaela Coleman signed with Carroll for basketball, and then Ave Odegaard signed with St. Mary's College for basketball.
Yes.
That's about as all as I can remember off the top of my head. And then
I think that was it for this week.
I think there was a tennis player that I can't remember who it was. And
Yes, there was a
I don't
tennis
think the
player.
football players have signed yet.
No one has. So
and then
that'll come later this year.
So as you guys know, state volleyball wrapped up. All state honors announced. So first off, starting for Bozeman High, Taylor Johnson got second team all conference and second team all state as a sophomore, and then Lola Feber, also a sophomore, got second team all conference, second team all state. Then libero Greta Berkram, first team all conference, first team all state, and then Nula Anderson, West Virginia, signee. Got first team all conference, first team all state, and Eastern AA Player of the Year.
Yeah.
She did lights out this season, and it shows with where she's going to play. And then on the Gallatin side, Ava Floor got honorable mention, AA all conference. Marky Wiseman, second team all conference and second team all state. Maya Chase, second team all conference and all state. Brooklyn Binford, first team, all state.
MSU commit too.
Yes.
Volleyball.
Kennedy Varda, first team, all conference and all state. And then Michaela Coleman, first team, all state.
Yep.
Yep.
So you're a couple of commits in there plus a basketball commit. So, yeah.
Good for
A
them.
lot of accolades between Bozeman and Gallatin High, which is awesome. So
Yep.
we have a bias to Gallatin because we went to Gallatin. So
Yeah. Yeah, something that I just saw, Taylor Chiric also got Big Sky Women's Basketball Player of the Week.
yes,
So good for her.
I'm
All right.
sure first of many this season for
Yes.
her. They'll keep rolling in.
Moving on, talk a little bit about the FCS playoffs here. Selection show was last Sunday. We'll go over our top 8 seeds real quick. All these teams will get a first round bye, so they won't just play this week, and then they'll play the winner of their respective games the following week. So 1 seed, not a surprise, NDSU, defending national champions. They earned this spot.
Yep.
No problems here. 2nd seed is us with Montana State. We secured that with the win in the brawl on last Saturday. So both those teams will have home field through the playoffs. Probably the 2 teams that we're going to see meeting in Nashville.
Yes.
3 seed, kind of surprised UM didn't fall farther, but the Grizz ended up with the 3 seed, so they will have home field up until the semis. They didn't really drop that much, which is, kind of makes sense because it was a 2 versus 3 matchup, but kind of surprised they didn't put them on the other side of the bracket from us, but that should be interesting. We could see a Brawl the Wild rematch in the semifinals in Bozeman, which would be pretty cool.
Cat Grizz round 2 would be awesome.
It's gonna be lit.
Yep.
I think they were looking at. Oh no, that's our game. Yeah, we'll see. Especially if that could be like an evening game, night game. Like,
That'd be pretty cool.
hopefully it's not too cold.
Yeah. We'll have to wear some layers there.
Yeah.
The 4 seed went to Tarleton State. They just had that 1 loss this year against Abilene Christian. So pretty good season for them. I think they probably should have fallen a little lower with their loss. They had that win and then that win against Army, who hasn't been great this year, but it is an FBS win, so I think that helped them get that 4 seed. 5 was Lehigh. I think they probably should have gotten the 4 seed with their undefeated season, but they ended up with the 5 seed, so they will be playing Tarleton in the quarterfinals. And then 6 was Mercer. I think they deserve the 6th seed. They've had a pretty good season. The only loss that I think they probably would have had one more loss with that Davis game that ended up with being a no contest, but it is what it is. 7 seeds, Stephen F. Austin will play them in the quarterfinals if they can win their games and we win our games. They'll possibly have to come to Bozeman, which would be interesting considering that they've had the last 2 years was those 2 games that where we played Mercyhurst was where we were supposed to play Stephen F. Austin, but they canceled. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually still have to come to Bozeman no matter what.
Yeah, we'll see.
And then 8 seed UC Davis. That one kind of surprised me. They've had a couple losses this season. I think there were some other teams that probably could have gotten that 8 seed, but I think with that win with Sac State, I think that's what the committee really pushed them up into that 8 seed so that they had that first round bye.
For sure.
Conferences, they're very heavily weighted in the Mountain Valley Football Conference, or not Mountain Valley, Missouri Valley Football Conference this year. 6 teams coming in, a lot of good teams. All the Dakotas are in there. I think it's Illinois State and then Indiana State maybe that are also in there. So good teams. Obviously, it's a very strong conference. 3 teams from the Big Sky, us, Montana, and Davis. I think we lost out on one with maybe 2 teams with NAU dropping out and Sac State dropping out. I think Sac State was really a bubble team that could have made it, but probably wasn't going to.
Yep. Southland 3, CAA 2, Ivy 2. It'll be. I don't think. Well, we may end up playing an Ivy League school. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope that Yale beats Youngstown, but I don't know if they
it'd
will.
be fun if we do because we haven't had an Ivy League school here in a while. So
Yep.
could be a cool matchup.
And then, UAC had 2, and all other conferences had 1, just with their auto bids. There's 3 big games I think I see in this round 1 matchup that can actually end up being close games. That's UND versus Tennessee Tech. Both are really good teams that have put a big fight up against each other and their respective schools this year. I'm excited to see how that plays out. I got to look. Who they play. The winner of that game will go on to play Tarleton State. So I think both these teams actually have a chance at making a bit of a playoff run here. I think they both could make it up to the semifinals playing NDSU because they have to play Tarleton and then probably either Lehigh or Villanova in the semifinals. So good for them. That'll be a tight game. I'd turn that one on. Central Connecticut State versus Rhode Island. I think that'll be a tight matchup. Rhode Island coming in at the 9 seed. It should be a pretty well-matched game, and the winner of that will play Davis. And then SDSU versus New Hampshire. SDSU, I'll be interested to see if their quarterback comes back. If their quarterback's back, I think they definitely win this game. Otherwise, it could be a shootout and potentially end SDSU's season if their quarterback's not back and they're not able to get some momentum going. And the winner of that will go on to play Montana. So interested to see how that'll turn out.
Certainly a big week for FCS football, so we will see how things shake out. All right. As you guys have seen on the Instagram, this is free to everyone who wants to enter. We're doing a Bobcat Weekly Bracket Challenge for FCS football. So you guys have seen it on the Instagram. If you've seen the post, it's pinned on our page, I think. So, yeah, free to enter. So you submit a bracket with your score prediction of the championship game for a tiebreaker. So fill out your bracket, submit it to bobcatweekly@gmail.com. And then winner, we're getting a MSU hat of your choice. If you want something, like if we have a fan from another school submit something and they want a different hat, cool, we'll switch it out wherever you want. But, yeah, ball cap, your choice, which will probably be MSU. And then entries must be submitted by this Saturday, the 29th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So
Because that's when the first kickoff is.
yep. So we already have a couple brackets rolling in, which is cool. So continue to get those in. We'd love to see what kind of competition shakes out from this. So, yeah, whoever wants to, free to enter. Feel free to do it. And, love to see what you guys have think for the brackets. So.
As far as other Bobcat news for this week, Vegan was seen traveling to Portland to interview for that OSU job. Made most of the Bobcat community very nervous this week with him being a candidate for that job and him potentially leaving. But today he released a statement basically saying he didn't explicitly say that he was staying, but he said it seemed pretty concrete that he was going to stay in Bozeman this year, and he's not leaving.
I won't read the whole statement, but the last sentence just said, "I'm honored for the opportunity to keep leading this team and continue this journey as the head football coach."
Yep. So good. Hopefully he sticks around for a while. We wrapped up our game day picks last week. Unfortunately, Brady still somehow managed to come out on top. We needed NAU to win, and they did not.
Yeah, so we took each week we did this. We took top 4 or 5 games from FCS football, and then did game day picks, and we'll just go through and pick who we thought was going to win. And
It's all because of that Portland State game. The one game I said I want them to win, they won.
Yep, and then So moving on from that, we are going to go into a different competition now that we're into the playoffs. So we're not going to have game day picks anymore. It's now going to be our bracket challenge. So similar to how we're doing it with the fans, we will have a competition among the 3 of us.
Yep.
And it'll be the same point scoring that I posted on the Instagram to see who can come out on top.
Yep, which I still need to get mine done, so I will get that done as soon as I can. And
you can kind of, I'm going to project it up here because that's what we're going to do right now. But and you can kind of go down it.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then we'll post that later. But we'll go through our first round games this week. Starting off with the first game, Illinois State at Southeastern Louisiana. Winner plays North Dakota State. Brady, what are your thoughts here?
I don't know much about either
This
team.
is the wrong bracket.
That is the wrong bracket.
Go ahead and continue.
I don't know much about either team right now, but I think this could be a close game between the two. But I'm taking Southeastern Louisiana in this one.
All right.
Got the very last seed, barely squeezed it in there, so I'm taking them.
you just want to talk about them from your
Yeah,
computer.
we'll go ahead and talk about it from the computer because this isn't working. So I am also going to take Southeastern Louisiana here. Both are pretty good teams. I think this is a pretty even matchup. Obviously, I don't think it really matters because whoever wins is going to lose to North Dakota State.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take Southeastern Louisiana.
Yeah. You guys just do your picks, and I'll put my bracket on the story later this week, so just go ahead.
Moving on here. Central Connecticut State at Rhode Island. Brady, what are your thoughts?
Rhode Island has the 9 seed. They're 10-2. I watched a little bit of their football this year. I'm very impressed with how they're playing this season. Central Connecticut, I actually did catch one of their games that they were playing because it was just the random scrolling through. Oh, FCS, why not? Their defense was described as the broadcaster's Swiss cheese. I don't think the broadcaster liked them very much, but he described their defense as Swiss cheese because they were letting everything through. So I'm taking Rhode Island.
Yep. Also going to take Rhode Island here. I think Rhode Island, they've been a pretty good team all year, 10-2. Central Connecticut, they're also a pretty solid team. I think this could be a shootout, but I think Rhode Island's going to come out on top. Moving on here, Harvard at Villanova. What are our thoughts?
Harvard was kind of one of those dangerous teams towards the end of the season. Like, a lot of attention was focused in on them because they were, undefeated going into the end of the season. So I'm pulling with them for the upset.
I am also going to take Harvard here, 9-1. Their only losses to Yale so far this year, who's another playoff team. I think they're going to pull off the upset in Villanova to go on to play Lehigh. Next game on here, another game we talked about earlier, North Dakota at Tennessee Tech. What are your thoughts?
I didn't look too much into this one, but Tennessee Tech's got the 13 and a significantly higher record, so I'm taking them.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite way here. I'm going to take UND. They're 7-5, but most of their losses are to either the other Dakotas or Dakota States, or I think they had an FBS loss in there too. I got to go back and look. But I think that they've been a very solid team, and they've lost some tight games against some really good teams. So I think that they're going to come in here with an upset against Tennessee Tech. All right, next game on here, New Hampshire at South Dakota State. What are your thoughts?
I think South Dakota State is a very different team from who they were from Gold Rush right now.
Mm-hmm.
How many? 4 straight conference losses in a row?
Yeah.
Something like that. Frankly, I don't know how they got a ranked seed. I'm just not entirely sure, but I don't want to pick them, but I do think they're going to beat New Hampshire.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Jacks here. I think coming off that win at North Dakota, I think they're going to have a little bit of fire underneath them. They know that this is where they have to shine. It's win or go home. So I'm going to take the Jacks, especially if their quarterback's back. If their quarterback's not back, this could be a tough fight for them.
Yeah.
With New Hampshire being a pretty solid team, but I think that they're going to come out with a win here, especially if their quarterback's back. All right, moving on. Drake at South Dakota.
South Dakota, that's who we played in the semifinals last year.
Yeah.
They weren't the greatest team. Well, I mean, obviously we had one of the best teams in the nation last year. But I do think South Dakota's got it in this one.
Yeah. I am also going to take South Dakota here. I think they're a solid team. Most of their losses are to really tough programs with North Dakota State and South Dakota State. So, yeah, I'm going to take South Dakota. Moving on here, Lamar at Abilene Christian.
I mean, Abilene Christian, they got that 10 spot. During the selection show, they were, how they're like showing the crowds all around.
Yeah.
I was surprised about the size that Abilene Christian had for their watch party.
Yeah.
So just based on that, I'm going to pick them.
Yeah, Abilene Christian, I mean, they're a tough team. They had that big win against Tarleton State earlier this year to take them out of the 2 spot. So, yeah, I'm also going to take Abilene Christian here. I think they're a tough school, and, yeah, I think they're going to come out with a win here. And I think most of their losses I know they had a loss to TCU. I think they had another FBS loss, so I think they're going to be a pretty solid team. So give me Abilene Christian. And then last game here, Yale at Youngstown State. What are our thoughts there?
In Yale, so Yale did beat Harvard right at the end of the season there to get that, or to knock Harvard off of the top 25 rankings. But I'd rather play Yale than Youngstown because that's who we're going to play in the second round. If you guys have any thoughts on what you want to see in the playoffs, or
go Cats, baby. That's all I can say. I don't know a lot about these other teams other than they probably can't mess with us, especially in Bozeman. Nobody wants to come play in Bozeman, so hoping for the Cats all the way.
Yep.
Would you rather play South Dakota State or the Grizz again in Bozeman for the semifinals, if it comes to that?
In Bozeman. South Dakota State. I think the team will be more fired up to get their get back.
Mm-hmm.
We beat the Grizz in Missoula, and it's always a rivalry, but give us South Dakota State. I think we got them.
Yeah.
And that whole point of it's hard to beat a team twice.
Yeah.
And South Dakota State is not the same team they were at the beginning of the season because they kind of smacked us at Gold Rush, and then they lost 4 in a row the second half of the season. So they are definitely beatable now. So
Yeah, and I think it's very heavily dependent on their quarterback. I mean, he has been out for a majority of the season. I forget which game he went down in. but obviously that is a major part of their
Yeah.
offense.
For sure.
But I honestly, I think I would rather play the Grizz. I've played SDSU. Actually, no, I'd rather play SDSU, but I think we're going to play the Grizz because I don't know if SDSU is going to be able to get enough momentum to win in Washington Grizzly. I think that's going to be another close shootout for the Grizz where they're going to come out on top on that one.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I was kind of talking to my dad about it, and he said that the Grizz can do weird things in the playoffs. It's like South Dakota State; they're going to be beatable. But it's just such a close rivalry. You're never going to know what's going to happen. Like, we could have a perfect season, and they could have a terrible season, and they could come back and whoop us. Like, it's just something like that with that cross-state rivalry. You never know what's going to happen. So I'd rather play SDSU, but I think it's going to be the Grizz, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think, like I mentioned earlier, simply for the sake of it'd be sweet to have another Cat Grizz. I think that'd be cool, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that shakes out. But yeah,
Great.
big week ahead for football. So
Yep.
a lot happening.
All right. I think that just about does it for this episode.
Yeah. You guys have any other shout outs? Any shout outs you want to give? Anything else you want to say?
I just want to give a huge thanks to you guys. I think what you guys are doing is really cool.
Appreciate it.
Keeping people like even us two who are Bobcat athletes, we don't follow all these sports. So just hearing these weekly updates is really cool. And then bringing guys like us on and talking about our teams and kind of just letting us speak freely about things that we want to talk about. It's really cool. And I know you guys are only 2 months in and brand new, but I hope this thing blows up and keeps going.
Thank you.
for sure.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah. So I think
Patrick, any shout outs you want to give? Anything else?
Yeah, no shout outs really, but same thing as Jed, man. Y'all are killing it. Just keep going. And yeah, I think it's really cool what y'all are doing, and it was really good to meet you guys.
Yeah, of
thank you.
course. Same with you guys as well. It's been fun, I think, going from, especially with all the athletes we've had on so far, especially the junior seniors, like watching them over the past couple seasons and actually being able to make connections now, meet the guys. Like, we've watched you guys for the last handful of years and so actually get make the connections, talk with you guys has been super fun. So, yeah, I think we're all really excited to see where this is going to go, especially this season and into the future. So, yeah, a lot of fun. But, yeah, that just about wraps it up for this week. So, thank you guys again for tuning in. We did the episode a little earlier in the day, so it's only 5:30 instead of like 11 that one night we did the show. So,
Yeah.
happy to be done now. Now we can go get dinner and chill for the evening. So, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Another
Happy
big weekend
Thanksgiving.
for
Happy Thanksgiving.
happy
Yep.
Thanksgiving to everyone listening as well. Another big weekend for Bobcat Athletics. Tune in. Basketball, football's off, but yeah, basketball's taking the cake this week. So, yeah, tune in. We'll be at the games next coming week. So come say hi. Like we've said, we'll be there usually in the end zone. So,
Yeah.
I think, but yeah, I think that just about wraps it up. So as always, go Cats.
Go Cats.